Okay, welcome to session 6 of Arc 2. Who would like to start us off with our recap of last session? Apologies for the audio of last session, but, things happen.
All good.
I think we're on 7, by the way.
We
We
could
are.
very
This,
well
is,
be.
this is session 7. Yeah.
There
I think
we go.
I can try and tackle the recap. All things considered, the entirety of last session was, or at least 90% of last session was combat. We had just made camp and had been accosted by strange creatures. So we had set up a bit of a perimeter and began a watch system to try and keep an eye out for the local wilderness while the rest of us went to sleep. It was not too long after the first watch that the camp was set upon by displacer beasts, which immediately set off combat as the group began attempting to fend off these strange creatures. We discovered that they, along with a mysteriously invisible stalker, had all been hunting down Felix and were specifically going after Felix to intend to kill him. Through some pretty clutch spell work, some spirit guardians, a slow area, some magical logs, we were successfully able to fend off our opponents before the invisible stalker had made mention that there would be more and they would not stop. It was at that point that we began to recover, and Felix unveiled a bit more of his backstory to us, the crimes he had committed and what he was running away from. And the group as a whole resolved to protect Felix against whatever was chasing after him, as he had done right by the rest of us and didn't have any reason to do otherwise. With that sort of peaceably agreed upon, we headed back to our rests to prepare for the next day's adventure.
Wonderful. Go ahead and take your D4 for the session.
Woo!
Eloquently said. Couldn't have said it better. Unrelated to that recap, I did want to make the formal announcement that the wiki page for Elderfield is up, now that you are officially out of it. So, Congratulations on unlocking a new wiki page. You should perhaps see Answood soon. We shall see how that goes.
That is the hope.
But I think we were winding down from an otherwise heated battle with some dialogue. I don't know if anyone wants to continue their train of thought or add anything or do anything before going to bed after a hard-fought battle. I will remind you all that there were some people in single digits, so it was by no means a walk through the park. But I'll invite you to do so now. Otherwise, we can skip to the next day.
Well, if that wasn't the easiest fight I've ever had.
A bolt
Just
of
kidding.
lightning strikes.
Rocks fall, everyone dies.
Yes, exactly.
One suggestion I was going to make, Therathari, if you were considering, maybe you would want to send Elton back to Tura just to tell them of what happened, and so they know of our safety, and they have access to the archive. They could look into whatever that thing was. I forget, out of character. Do we know? Like, I know you said invisible stalker. Did someone else identify it as an invisible stalker?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, gotcha.
I'll run by that. So basically, I learned, or I remembered from my time at the academy, that spell. It was a spell. It was like an advanced form of a physical stalker and it was like the elemental plane of air, and it was basically directed towards its target, and so it knew like the direction of the target. It didn't know exactly where you were, but from wherever it was, it knew the direction to go to get to you. And it also knows the person. It knows the location of the person who summoned it. So I think when we ended off last time, we're also talking about potentially trying to capture one and maybe seeing if we could, if there are going to be more, at least learn the location of the person or persons that are trying to get you.
Yeah, so I don't know if you had considered that. What do you think, Therathari?
I would think the archive is, they expect the messenger birds to bring archive matters, and I suppose our safety is one of them. But what help could they do from that far away?
Send us any information they might be able to find, although who knows what we'll be able to find in Answood. Up to you.
Well, I don't know what other information they might have outside of what I've already relayed. I mean, there's only, I mean, we know it's a high level mage that had to be doing this sort of spell, and that it was specifically targeted towards you. But I mean, and we know what it was, but outside of that, I don't really know what other information they might have that would be useful to us, like after the fact.
Strengths and weaknesses, for one. I'd like to know how to, if we plan on capturing one, we should know how to combat it. We know a bit from experience, but...
Well, I guess that's fair, but I guess knowing the weaknesses.
Surprised you're so eager to face another one.
I'm not eager. I'm just, I'm thinking about it.
But maybe we see what we can find in Answood and then make the decision there, I guess, if it's still needed.
Okay.
All right.
I would
agree
hate,
with
I would
Tyler.
hate to use the bird and then have it be unavailable.
Absolutely.
Only for us to get to Answood and figure out that, well, we could have learned that information in the town library or something.
Right.
Agreed.
Okay. Is there anything else you would like to do before you bed down for the evening?
I think I'm all right.
Okay.
All good.
So unfortunately, you will have to sort of reset your watch. Let's get this on. But fortunately, you went to bed rather early, so you won't be waking up too late in the morning. But I suppose I'll keep the same order: Felix, Therathari, Jara, Iris, or are we switching that up due to battle scar?
Yeah, I mean, Felix has been a bit traumatized. He probably wants to rest. I don't know if anyone wants to volunteer for first watch, but he'll gladly give it up.
I mean,
Iris
I
only
could.
needs to sleep for like 6 hours, so she will sentries rest about the entire time. So, oh no, yeah. She
And
can
it-
just keep watch for 6 hours, honestly, alongside whoever else is on watch. So we could go like Jara, Therathari, and then Iris can
Yeah.
take the back
Only
half.
thing I was going to say is I don't have dark vision, so if there's someone else who has dark vision who'd rather go first, I could take next when it's possibly a little bit lighter. But
Right.
that's the only caveat I'd say.
Yeah. That's a fair point.
I'll go
Iris
first
can
then.
probably also.
Right.
Yep. Iris will assist because she just has to be in sentry's rest, and when Jara comes up, she'll open up her little headlamp, so at least there's going to be some light in the area.
So it sounds like Therathari, Felix, Jara, all with the somewhat assistance of Iris.
Yep. Sounds good to me. Okay. Therathari, you are up. You can roll your perception or investigation check with advantage, thanks to Iris, if you'd like.
Yo.
Dirty 20 something.
Okay. You still hear the distant howls of the wargs and the hoots from owls and occasional caws from crows, but nothing around your camp in the surrounding area is of note. All pretty chill, considering what transpired. Your watch is uneventful. Felix,
Perfect.
you are next to rise here. You can make a similar check if you'd like.
19.
Okay. On extra alert, due to the circumstances prior, you scan about, making sure the tree line's clear and your anti-warg circle is still being upheld, and you notice nothing. It's an uneventful couple of hours. And you bed down again after waking Jara. Jara, you can roll as well.
This is perception, right?
Or investigation, depending on what you're doing.
All right, I'm gonna go with investigation.
Okay.
22. Nice.
You notice it's getting to be near dawn. It's not quite dawn, but the moonlight is bright in the sky, and it's, like I said, the day is starting to come. You look around the camp, and you notice behind the middle tent, there's a disturbance in the trees.
Oh. So this tent right here?
Yep.
Which side? Or is it directly behind it?
Pretty much directly behind it. You can see some of the tree branches are moved, and there's not enough wind at this time to be the cause of it. And you hear a little bit of roughage kind of being stepped on.
Is it coming from... So it's coming from the ground, right?
Yeah, it's not something in the air.
Okay, can I use my mage hand to like just push its way back there and just to see if it hits anything?
Sure. I will get your mage hand out.
It has 60 feet range.
Yep.
Mage hand.
Go ahead
Yeah,
and move it.
I have the upgraded mage hand. So I'm just gonna like essentially just push it that way. Oh,
Okay. As soon as you get to like 5 feet within the tree line, it hits a physical barrier, one that seems to move at touch.
can I try to grab it?
Yeah, make a. This would be probably a strength check, and
I mean,
it
it's
would
not very strong, but
it'll choose to do. It's essentially a grapple, right?
yeah, I guess.
Yeah, so it'll choose to do that. All right, so roll.
5.
Okay. Yeah. It goes to grab,
For a mage hand.
and the mage hand grabs around the body, and it's able to like move it away, and scurries off into the forest,
Okay, well,
effectively scaring
it's
it away.
scurried away. All right, so I'm okay with that outcome.
Okay. The rest of your watch goes without issue. Iris wakes from her sort of prolonged stasis. You tell her the news. Iris, if you'd like to roll.
All right.
You do not have advantage, but you can just standard roll.
It is just me. It's going to be an 18.
Nothing. In fact, the sun is peering up. Since you have the watch that involves the day coming, you can roll me a d8 for the weather.
Okay. And now the weather. 6.
Okay, 6.
Now Iris with the weather.
Okay. As the sun crests over the horizon, it is you're past sunrise for sure because you had a little bit of a delayed start to sleep last night. It is a very windy day. Wind is howling through the trees, rocking the canopies back and forth. It's probably 20-mile-per-hour winds, gusts, and they're bringing with it a pretty chilling air. So it's bringing temperatures down to probably below 40 in this early morning. It is.
Iris is just going to spend most of her watch. She'll sort of crack open the chest space of holding. She'll pull out like an old shield that Q had given her before travels, and she'll just sort of like polish it off and get it ready for the day ahead.
Sure. You notice that the horses you kept around camp a little ways down, they are fine, but at this point they're not a big fan of the wind chill. However, nothing happens on your watch, and in fact, The sun comes through with the wind, and your friends rise from their tents to tackle on the next day. It is currently Thursday in the week, for those who are tracking that. The day is yours.
Good morning.
Morning. I definitely needed that rest.
I think we all did.
Yeah, a good night's sleep covers cures most things. I hear.
How are the horses?
Fine, if not a little cold.
Well, I certainly agree with them. It certainly did get a little bit chilly.
You all can mark off a full rest if you haven't already. I think I said you can last session, so go ahead and mark that off if you haven't. But yes, you all wake to the early morning sun. Therathari will denote it is 8:07 in the morning, and the wind chill, as I stated earlier, is kind of bone chilling at this time. It's the windiest day it's been since you've set out traveling.
Well, I think we would all feel a lot better if we got moving a little bit, got the blood flowing.
Yeah, I think it's best
Iris looks down at her physical characters.
Oh shit!
I think it's best we get on our way. Usually, cold air, high winds denotes a storm. So I think I would like to be maybe in Annswood and in an inn or somewhere warmer coverage
How
from
far are we?
the weather.
Where's the map?
Good question. I will bring you to the map. I was actually just doing
The
that.
map.
I think
Find
you
the
have
map.
the map.
Yeah, you do.
Therathari.
Therathari, you do, because it was given
Yeah.
to you explicitly.
Bad if Therathor is asking who has the map.
Well, I thought you had the map, Therathari. Did you lose it?
Let me check.
Okay, so you. There we go. On the map, you guys have made your way sufficiently far from Elderfield and are on Pentapass Road. If you recall, you took an alcove in the break in the forest line and off the beaten path a little bit to take up camp. You are within a full day's travel from Annswood. Full 8 hours.
Seems like we should get there end of the day, for quick.
Well, I'm looking forward to a tasty dinner. Hot, fresh,
Indeed.
perhaps some ale.
Yeah, I think getting back to civilization for at least a night or two would be nice.
And we can maybe get some answers. How long are we just staying in Annswood for the night, you guys think? Or
Well, there's someone there we're supposed to meet, right? I guess we could speak with them, and I don't know
Merrill, yeah, Merrill Sky.
maybe if they have an itinerary for us or something. I'm not sure. I don't know if they're a associate of the what do they call it? The archive, right? So I don't know. They might have other important information for us or something we need to get done there. So
That's true, yeah. All right, so I guess we'll just see when we get there.
And it is
Okay.
dawning on me quite how long our journey will be, so I wouldn't mind staying more than one night.
yeah, especially if there's a way we could discover more information, if they have like a library or something, or if the contact has maybe some people we could speak to. It might be worth, spending a little bit of extra time there.
Yeah, does anyone remember if we were given a timeline? Like, are we supposed to arrive at Blackrock Quarry within a certain amount of time? Or is it just sort of like when we get there?
Not to my recollection.
The mission details said within 3 weeks. Within 3 weeks time.
Oh, okay, yeah, we got time.
But the journey there could take upwards of 10 days to 14 days.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we got extra week of leeway, so maybe we spend an extra night or two here of that extra week.
Yeah, we'll play it by ear.
All right. You get on your horses, leaving the camp. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, you're back on Pentapass Road. It's a pretty busy morning. You see a fair number of carts are out. probably got a little bit of a late start, later than you might have wanted, but by no means too late. And most people that you see are wrapped pretty heavily in either fur cloaks or hoods up and keeping their face and their appendages away from the wind. It's a lot windier on Pentapass Road. Winds are reaching in the 30 mile per hour range. It's no joke. And again, with it, a chilling air. Kind of one of those like wind chills that finds its way into the nooks and crannies of your clothing and chills you to your core. Kind of one of those. Kind of hard to stay warm.
I left the Northeast.
Exactly.
That would chill.
You brought it with you.
Indeed. But I invite you if you'd like. Again, the way I like to do traveling is we'll just do checkpoints if you don't want to do anything. But I think some of you like to do things. If you want to role play and talk, we can. Whatever's yours and whatever you want to do is up to you, and I'll pick up wherever's left off. So feel free.
I'll give an out of character comment here. I'm a little bit tired today, feeling somewhat out of it, so my RP will not be as thorough as usual.
No worries.
No worries.
All good. So I've been thinking a lot. I don't know if you guys have. Anyone have any theories about? I think it's very possible that my past is finally coming up here, but it does seem like the door is open for other possibilities. I don't know if my past associates would go to these lengths to hunt me down. So any ideas what that was about?
Yeah, I think I'm in slight agreement with you there, Felix. It does, from what I know of similar types of spells of this nature, it certainly takes a lot of power, experience, and you have to be a mage, of course, to be able to pull that off. And from what you've told me about your group there, they don't really seem to be like important enough to even garner like
They're
a
not.
meeting with that individual. So
No, yeah.
So I don't really know what to make, heads or tails of it, but it's certainly. I was definitely thinking it doesn't make sense that if it's your group, I'm not sure how it could be, but
I'm wondering if it has anything to do with when we were in Elderfield. I came across that cloaked figure who I sort of chased down. We seemed to have a peaceful exchange where she let me go, but I wonder if there was something more. I don't know.
it was that woman from the bar that you followed, right?
Yeah. I didn't really know what she was about. She just sort of was stalking around the church, if I'm remembering correctly.
Well, that's certainly an interesting take, and there was some, for lack of a better term, like spectral thing happening. Like we saw some robbed graves and things like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That could be a possibility, but I mean, would you know? Did you learn anything that would like warrant that kind of response? That seems like a little like overboard, right?
No,
That's like it's like if I have an ant colony and I set it on fire, it's like a response. Like I feel like that like doesn't warrant it.
I don't think it did. I mean, I was following her because I was curious about who she was and why she just sort of like ran out of the bar and snuck out. But when she caught me, I was honest, and she seemed miffed. But that's the extent of it. Not
Well,
like,
was there anything that happened in Tura? I know you guys are like heroes there, but were there like any loose ends or anything there? Like maybe someone that got away that was an enemy or something?
Well, we did have to deal with necromancy.
I mean, you guys did something large enough to become like royalty at Tura, right? So I could garner that coming with like all sorts of enemies.
yeah. We took down a family that was practicing necromancy, but they might have been working with others that we don't know about.
I think that might be like that. I think that might like make the most sense. Like something with what happened in Tura might have followed you out of Tura. I mean,
I'm just
just from
wondering.
like the magnitude of what it would cost, or to get someone to do that kind of spell, it seems like you would need to have someone of that status of like royalty or semi-royalty or just extreme wealth really to pull that off.
But then why me? Why not Therathari or Tenley? Well, I don't know. I hope Tenley's all right, but I don't know. It
Uh,
just seems strange to single me out then.
Well, I don't know if it was necessarily going to kill you, or if it was trying to kidnap you for information. So is there? I mean, you're the only one not protected, right? I mean, Therathari has, he joined his group, and your other friend is like seeming royalty in the public eye. So you might have been like the easy, like quiet, if you disappear, no one really go looking kind of guy. No
Probably the
offense.
least physically intimidating as well.
No offense by any of that, by the way. I'm just.
No, I understand. Yeah, yeah.
I'm coming up from their point of view why it might have been you over somebody else.
Hmm.
Because I mean, if their authority goes missing, the archive would go looking. If Tanley went missing, I mean, I'm sure there's a whole lot of people in the public eye that would look into that. But if you went missing, I mean, aside from Tanley or their authority, who would go looking?
It's a good point. I hadn't considered that.
And that also means that our assailant must not know that we're in a group.
It's possible that they don't know that we left together. That's for sure.
Well, hopefully we can learn more once the next one comes.
I don't think that there's any way for that invisible stalker to communicate back to its owner, summoner, whatever that relationship was. So, I mean, it might be that they still don't know. So that could be something we use to our advantage at some point.
Certainly.
I think if we capture one and we end up figuring out that it's someone in Tur, I think we got a good bet there on what's going on.
I hope it is. I rather the devil we know, right? Or I guess
Absolutely.
the devil we might know.
All right. If one of you brave souls would like to roll me a D100, that would be wonderful.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Who's got it?
I'll do it.
All right.
No fear. 70.
Okay.
One off from the best number.
All right.
Yeah, 71.
Exactly.
Okay, 70. Yeah, you guys are traveling on the road. Wind's still howling past you. It's actually blowing in your direction. So you're going head on into it, which is wonderful. But the road itself, the path that you're following, like I said, is pretty heavily traveled on. And at this hour, a lot of people are leaving Answood or going to Answood. So there's a lot of traffic. In particular, you notice with the wind gusts and all that, there's a cart that catches your attention, particularly because it's made of a very fine wood. You can tell the craftsmanship is... it stands out a little bit from that of the normal, like, carts you would just throw shit on and travel, like freight carts, back and forth. This one seems to be very well polished, very well taken care of, very well crafted. And the canopy that sits overhead, it's driven by one person who's out front and driving. It's driven by 4 horses, kind of like a stagecoach. And there's a canopy that sits on top, covering the back. And you can see, if you'd all like to make perception checks for me.
Perception.
15.
That's cocked.
11.
22.
8.
Okay. For the most part, you all see as the flaps blow open every so often, and they're traveling with you, like along with you, but you're traveling at a faster pace. But anyway, as the flaps blow open, you can see in there 2 things. One is some sort of creature that is in a giant cage that is chained and like bound. Lots of fur, clumps of fur you can see are kind of sticking out of the cage. Very much fills up the entirety of this cage. And then there is a really well-dressed who you presume to be human male, humanoid figure with a suit, like a couple piece suit tuxedo. You can see a really nice cane set aside, and you just see in like the interior, there's boxes. Let me get the name for you.
Guy looks like he'd be an associate of Q.
Oh lord, it's a traveling circus.
That would be pretty funny. Okay. Sorry. I'm digging way back in notes here.
Those guys existed for a while.
Oh, yeah. Karsten Trading Company. Karsten. Couple boxes in there. Read that name.
Have we heard of the Karsten Trading Company?
Make a history check.
14, I believe.
Okay. There was the name Karsten rings a bell mostly in relation to Tal'Dorei. It is a massive shipping company. And just like they ferry goods in and out of the continents. They own, most notably, they own many of the ports in Iman, many of the port, and they have tons of locations throughout Tal'Dorei. You're not sure why someone bearing the name Karsten or otherwise affiliated would be on Caldrone heading to Answood, but you could rest assured it's probably something to do with business. But that is what you see. If you'd like to do anything, let me know. Otherwise, we will continue.
I think I'm all right.
Would Therathari know what you just relayed about Karsten?
For the most part, if you have any like sort of a decent intelligence score, you would have heard of the Karsten. It's kind of like the equivalent of FedEx, but if you imagine that to be just on one continent.
Given my family mercantile background, is there a role for any additional information that I could make?
Yeah, go ahead. Why don't you make a separate history check?
Sure. Ooh, that's a good roll. That is history. Ooh, that's a very good roll. 21.
Sure. Not so much due to your family's mercantile background, because your family doesn't necessarily interact directly with the Karstens. Perhaps your patron, your provider, might. But you do remember seeing Karsten ships in your time in Lothros. Quite a few, actually.
Interesting. And so this guy's traveling in our direction, and he's just got like a thing in a cage.
Not towards you, along with you.
You're right, he's traveling, right, sorry, in the same direction we are moving.
Correct. And you're just traveling faster by nature of his vessel.
Are we in front or like coming up past it?
With the wind flapping behind, you would have to be behind it. I'll let
so
you,
we're
if you
behind
want to slow your pace, you can. But if you continue at your current pace, you'll pass him in a few steps.
And we didn't see what the beast in the cage was. Right?
Unfortunately, with the quickness of the flaps going in and out and the rolls, not quite. You just know it's a large beast, and you saw shackles and clumps of fur.
Got it. Okay. As we, I guess, because we're moving faster, if no one else is going to do anything, as we pass by, I'm going to call out to the driver.
Okay.
Unless anyone else wants to do anything.
I'm following your lead. I'm happy to do something, but do what you want.
I'm gonna go. Well, that's quite a large beast you got back there. What is it?
You look over. The driver is one hand on like bound together with the reins. The other hand, he has a crossbow sat across his lap. And he looks at you. He's wearing a hood, obviously, because it's very windy, and you can see his eyes are pure white. And he doesn't speak. He just looks at you, and his like face is shadowed by his cloak, the hood of his cloak.
Do I know what like the all white eyes like Is he like a homunculus or like
Make a nature check.
nature check? Man, I'm rolling real high on these checks today. This is great. 19.
Chances are he is. He's definitely not a human or humanoid, really. Given that he's covered so much, and he's cloaked and kind of hold tight everything.
There's no one else in the cart, right? It's just him.
Well, he's on the front, driving
Right.
it. Yeah, just him with the crossbow in his lap and a few bolts next to him.
And then was there another guy inside the cart?
Yeah, that was the well-dressed guy with the
Well-dressed
beast.
guy. Oh, okay. I thought he was okay. So could I say it large enough to where, or large enough? Can I say it loud enough to where the guy inside the cart might hear me?
Okay, make a performance check.
All right, performance. Oh man, that's a 9.
Given the wind and just the general noise of the cart as it's traveling on uneven ground, probably safe to say that the guy inside, if he heard you, doesn't care, or maybe just didn't hear at all.
Sort of break the silence because Felix is feeling awkward. Felix goes, just wondering if there's anything to be concerned about. It looks quite ferocious with all that fur.
The eyes turn from a bright white to a kind of dimming, goes into like a pink, into a bright red.
Oh,
And-
perfect.
It grips the bolt or the crossbow. Doesn't like wave it at all, but is intently staring at you. And without even any insight, you can tell that this thing does not want to be bothered.
Well, all right, Felix. I think it doesn't seem like these are much friendly folk.
Okay.
I think we just keep moving on, I guess.
Have a nice day, y'all. First time Felix has ever said y'all in his life.
Okay.
Well, Felix, I appreciate you introducing some new vocabulary, but usually y'all is used when there's like more than one person. That's just like one guy there.
Well, there was a guy driving and a guy in the back.
Yeah, but I don't really think that guy could hear us. Or he really
The
could.
guy who pointed. Okay.
No, the guy who pointed the crossbow was the homunculus driver. The guy that's well dressed is inside the cart.
No, I know that, but Felix
Yeah.
doesn't know he's a homunculus. But,
Oh, right. So I appreciate it, but I don't want you to look like a fool using it, in the wrong context.
well, you're the expert, so appreciate the note.
I mean, I don't know if you choose to share that it's a homunculus, but I believe if you would, Felix would know a little bit more on how they work. Usually, there's a shared experience between a homunculus and its creator. Meaning
Oh yeah, I
that,
have a homunculus. I
that
forgot.
guy likely knows everything that just happened.
Well, that's all right.
Okay.
I don't want to backtrack my y'all statement, so I got to roll with it.
I like it. Dedication to the RP. Okay. With that, the rest of your time, and if you'd like to fill out with anything, let me know. But otherwise, we can do the stop where you guys would probably give the horses a break and eat some lunch.
Yeah, we can stop and let the horses get some feed.
Okay.
Yeah.
About a half-hour rest, I'd say, for them. So you guys can do anything in a half hour, do whatever you want, or we could skip it and go on to the next.
I got something. But I've been thinking a little bit more about what we discussed earlier, Felix, and I'm going to go over to Felix if he's like mostly by himself.
Sure.
I know when we were in Tura, what you guys did was, kind of hush hush. I didn't learn too much. I was wondering if there's any more information you can share about, the actual nature of your mission that might warrant like this kind of attack or response from someone.
Well, so so it was a lot. I can sort of paint a broad picture, but I definitely can't fill in all the blanks right now. Essentially, we were tasked initially with just figuring out why a bunch of stuff had been stolen from the docks, And in the end, what it came down to was there was a noble family, the Moriartys, who were working with a vampire and some other what's the word, factions that had been created across the town, all headed up sort of by the prince. They'd been working on smuggling goods, specifically this explosive powder, and they had a big plan to sort of blow up the city, or at least blow up a good number of people in the city, and the prince was going to seize control from the synod. We put a stop to that, obviously, by killing the prince and notifying the proper people about this family and their conspirators. And I believe everyone involved was arrested or killed. So I don't know who would be left to seek revenge.
Did you get all the factions? Did all of them get rounded up?
There was a faction that we didn't deal with, or that I mean, there was a faction called the where was it? The
Golden Sword.
Golden Sword. Yes, thank you. There's a faction called the Golden Sword, and I believe we took out the head of that. It was a man by the name of Clyde LaCroix. I think you saw him be executed, actually. If you were in the crowd.
Yeah, I was there. I believe he was one of the individuals.
And that faction was, I believe, he was the face of it, but it was set up and organized and working for the prince, who we killed. And I don't think there was anyone working above him. So we cut the head off the snake, at least. I doubt it would be anyone on the lower rungs who would be seeking this kind of revenge. They seem to mostly be taking advantage of the more poorer folks in the town who had fewer options.
I think I would agree. I think, the lower ranking members wouldn't have enough influence to even reach an audience with someone of the power to do what just happened. So I guess our only two possible options are, if it's Tura, which seems like it might be the most likely suspect, is either there was a secret party working with the Moriartys that we don't know about, or the prince was not the brains of the operation, it was just the face.
Yeah, we do know that something was going on in the Amber Mines. I don't know if you ever heard about that.
Right, yeah, I did want to check that out, but I think I think your friend there, Tenley, says she was going to look into that. So maybe we'll get some more information from her eventually on what's going on there.
I do know Yarna, the dockmaster, told us that it was pretty connected. Whatever's going on there was pretty connected to what was going on in Tura proper. So
maybe there's some party behind the Amber Mines that we'll learn about, that maybe they were the ones responsible.
There's definitely something unknown still in Tura going on.
All right, I think we just gotta take some precautions, keep our head on a swivel, and hopefully maybe next time we can capture one and be a little bit more prepared and really get to the bottom of this.
Certainly.
Okay. You complete your meals. Again, I think we are doing ration based, so this could be considered half a ration. That paired with your morning ration, I would say you definitely wiped out a full ration. So just subtract 1 from your ration hold here.
Have to eat.
Yeah.
I don't know if you need to, Iris. If you don't, then definitely don't. But
no, Iris just has some spare rations in case anyone runs out and needs
rations. Jared says 1 day, so wouldn't that be 1 full day's worth of meals?
I think it got staggered because you ate in Elderfield.
Oh, okay.
But I think now it'll be even if you get to Answood, so it'll even out.
Fair, yeah. If we get to Answood for dinner, then it'll even out.
Okay. And if it gets annoying to nickel and dime, it doesn't really matter. We'll just, round up.
I've been just subtracting 1 at the start of the day every day, pretty much.
That works too. Okay. So with that, you get back on your horses. I'll say in that time, that half hour, you'll probably get another pass at the Karsten cart. If anyone wants to do any last thing. Okay.
No. Kind
You-
of mean.
You make your trek down to Annswood. As you get to about 3 hours in, closing in on 2 hours left in your journey to Annswood, you notice the traffic get a little heavier, and you notice the wind hasn't stopped. It hasn't picked up necessarily, but the sun is getting shrouded in clouds. Every so often, it seems like the clouds are rolling in more steadily now. It is approximately, we'll just call it 3:30 in the afternoon. Okay. And as you get closer to Annswood, you all take note, the black cloaks that you saw in Elderfield are in high numbers here. And you can see, obviously, aside from their black cloaks, they are accompanying these very, like, dirtied, low-class people who seem to be not farming, rather foraging. And you can see what specifically they're looking for are these very small, dark, almost black mushrooms.
Oh, they're
And-
truffle hunting.
Not truffles. That you know, they could be.
Do they have pigs?
The human equivalent of truffle hunting.
They have truffle hunting pigs?
No,
Or
no
dogs?
pigs. Just humans and halflings and half elves and all manner of races are like literally on their knees, like digging for these black mushroom like things. And the Shade Watch keep a perimeter, like a very strong presence, and you can see them in clusters as you travel through the thicket. Anyone care to do anything with that, or are we going through?
I guess Iris will sort of see that and look to us. Is this normal?
Is this
What's
normal?
it even doing?
Is this something I've ever heard of? It seems very abnormal.
I think Felix, you would have no idea. You're not
Yeah,
really from the continent, or from this part of the continent, I should say.
I don't know Tenley or fuck Iris.
It's been a while.
Perhaps Therathari would know. I'll say the area around Annswood is known for shade shrooms, which is what the Shade Watch generate their name from, and they're only found in like the Pentapine thickets in the surrounding areas of Annswood, near the Cinder Peaks. But essentially, they are dark black mushrooms, and they're rare, and they only form in pockets beneath the surface, kind of like truffles. But they're really, really powerful, and they can be used to do all sorts of things. I don't think you would know exactly what, but it's a very lucrative market. And the Shade Watch originally were created to essentially make sure that people could get these like shade shrooms without getting attacked by people or nature or anything like that. Since then, they've sort of branded out and just are like general guides, but for hire. But that's generally what's going on. And they make sure if you get even a little bit close, they kind of eye you up, grab the hilt of their sword, and just kind of stare at you as you walk by or trot by. No joke, for sure.
I don't think I want to mess with them then.
Yeah, they seem intimidating.
Okay.
Iris is gonna wait until they get maybe about 100 feet away, and then she's gonna cast message on one of the people digging, and just stream of conscious a bunch of words in which language does she have again?
Oh my
Yeah, she's
God.
gonna stream a conscious primordial one of the digging halflings.
Okay.
Iris
Alright.
is just fucking with people's minds.
You pick this younger, like maybe middle-aged halfling, let's say, who is currently like on their knees, all fours, just scooping out earth and pushing it to a pile. And you see they have this like satchel bag where if they find these shade shrooms, they throw them in the bag. And right in the middle of it, this person scooping, this string of wingding characters comes through. You can see them stop, They look for a second at like the neighbors next to them, making sure that they didn't hear what they just heard. They look back at the Shade Watch, who kind of makes eye contact, and the person immediately goes back to digging.
Usually people are more violent when I do that.
That's your N of 1 speaking.
You will make note of this for next time.
Wait, did you say that out loud?
She did say that out loud.
More violent when you do what, Iris?
Oh. And she's going to string of conscious primordial you.
I think I know Primordial. Hold on.
Holy shit.
No, I don't. I don't
Ah.
know Primordial. I know Infernal. I think you did Infernal one time.
Yep,
Yeah,
you
it's just a stream of. You know how when you turn the TV to like a channel that doesn't really exist, it's just static.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Okay, I'm going. Well, is there a reason you're doing that to people?
The last time I did this, someone reacted. They understood what I was saying. The last
What-
time I spoke
what-
those words was
What are
about.
you saying?
Oh, a research manifesto, an old book I remember reading.
Can you translate that to a different language? I'd like to understand what that research
can.
manifesto.
It has been a while since I've read it. I was reciting a page or two. I can try and read it down.
Yeah, if you could write that down, or I would love to. Maybe that would give us some insight into where you're from.
I'll see what I can do.
For the record, I don't know what language this is, but if you can translate it to either Celestial, Common, Elvish, or Infernal, I am fluent in those 4.
Oh.
Whatever is easiest for you.
I'm going to cast message again, and this time I'm going to speak in Celestial. So you understand what I'm saying?
That I do, yes.
Huh. I wonder how long that's propagated. And she's gonna write more. She's gonna write down more notes.
But that language you just spoke was certainly like an old language, and it's certainly not common. I don't know how common it was in your day. It's certainly not as common now.
I still remember it relatively fluently, so likely common.
That's interesting to know. And I'm going to take my book out and write notes.
There's
Nerds.
take out a book and pretend to scribble notes.
Felix is
Nerds.
just playing with Alfredo.
Yeah.
You guys are such nerds. Okay. With that, as the day progresses into evening, around 5, almost 6 o'clock, you reach the edge of Answood. Cue the scene change.
Checkpoint. So if we team wipe, we just reset back to here.
Congratulations,
Excellent.
you have entered a new city. Let me clear the drawings.
Ooh, a crypt.
So you would have came through, and I'll describe it to you, but you would have came through kind of in this direction, down bottom right.
Valicia Magna.
Ooh.
Okay. So as you approach the walls of Answood, you notice that the general topography around you has shifted from the dark pine-like trees of the Pentapine thicket to a more oak-style, thick-trunk, very bushy canopy type of tree. These are known as heartwood. This is the heartwood thicket. And it's known for making very, very nice luxury furniture, especially the old ones. However, you notice there is a steady stream of traffic into and out of Answood. And it is dissimilar from Tura in that it's not so heavily regulated. But there are large presence of luminous soldiers, both in the watchtowers at the front gates and also along the exterior walls that line Answood. These are high-rising walls of about 20 feet and they have like battlements, obviously on top of them, with like towers in between. And the front gates themselves are solid wood doors that kind of come closed, probably with some winch mechanism, winch system. But you notice that the city of Answood, or the township of Answood, is built upon this sort of raised, not quite a plateau, but raised platform of earth. You're not sure if the outside was sort of dug out or not. However, it gives kind of the city it's propped up almost. And walking in this direction, you definitely get that sort of high-rise appearance. You can see now as well the general like area that is. Let me pull up the map here. Answood. You're not as close to the Cinder Peaks, so you can still see them behind you, really to your left, but they're not as in view as they were when you were in like Elderfield. And the climate here is much the same, obviously, but it is still windy and still pretty cold. You get in line, this procession going into the city. Is there anything you want to do or say in preparation while you're sort of being let in slowly? Okay.
Nothing to say, but Iris is going to start playing around with her all-purpose tool and get it prepped for Toll the Dead, just in case we run into anything unsavory for the rest of the evening.
Fair enough. Okay. You notice that the stream of people coming out is slowed down significantly as most people are coming in during this hour. You can see that there are caravans of the Shade Watch along with these people who were likely the ones digging. They sit in these carts, kind of like infantry carts, where there's a bench on either side of the cart, and they sit. They're not bound or anything, but they're very much keeping to themselves, head down, while some of the Shade Watch either stand in between the row or they sit on the front of the cart driving the horses. You can see there's a procession of them, lots of them. And in fact, it's almost not discernible on how many Luminous versus Shade Watch there are. It's almost like competing numbers at the front gates here, which is quite interesting. Eventually, you make your way through the gates. There's no real papers check or anything like that. They just kind of give you a once-over, check your stuff. If you have anything weird, they'll stop you. You do notice, before you enter into the gates, the cart that you saw with the Karsten name is stopped on the side, and this very slim, well-dressed figure, the top hat and cane, is talking to one of the Luminous soldiers, probably a captain of some kind. They've just been talking. You don't know for how long, but it seems like they're in not a heated debate or anything, just a casual discussion, while the driver is mysteriously gone, and the cart seems to be empty with the caravan completely drawn back. Or the canopy, excuse me. That's really it of note. As you kind of make your way through again, through the people, you can see colorful buildings, a nice stone walkway, definitely heavily traversed, and you're greeted with the safety, the sanctity, and the protection of walls and civilization, which is a sight for sore eyes, traveling just even a few days in the wilderness. But the evening is yours. You can find respite, whatever you'd like to do.
How late is it?
It's dinner time, around 6 o'clock.
Well, do we have any information on how to find our contact?
I was going to ask, do we know who we're meeting with?
You were just
Yeah,
getting
her name is Meryl Sky, but I don't know if we were told how to contact her. I think we're supposed to just find her. Maybe it'll be apparent when we sort of explore the town a bit.
Is there somewhere we can ask?
The inn,
Sure.
I want to say.
Yeah, an inn
And
keeper.
maybe that's even where contact will be.
I think that maybe we find some place to sleep and some place to fill our bellies and take it from there.
Okay.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, so you trot your way through the central street here, passing by a small market on your left, otherwise sort of shops intermixed with homes. It's tough to discern at this part of the city what is upper class versus what is middle class. You do see in the distance near the leftmost wall here a large, high-rising crypt. You can see the dark stonework and the dark roof. It stands above most of the city and is accompanied, or rather, it is the perimeter of it is walls. So it has a second set of walls keeping the city from it. You continue through and you see a center sort of square, you could call it, and there is a monument. You would like to make a religions check for those who are interested.
Religion.
8.
Dirty 20.
22.
Okay. This is a very old monument to Erithus, who's sort of like the goddess of like civilization and law or things like that, order. You can see in the center of it, I couldn't find a token for this, but bear with me. It's essentially one of those giant scales, right? It's a statue of the scales, like kind of Libra, and they're in perfect balance. And on one hand represents law and order, and on the other hand represents chaos and lawlessness. And it's always in perfect balance. That is...
Do I recognize Arathis from back in the day?
You know Arathis for sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
So Arathis has been around for a while.
Long time.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. Where you guys want to go? This is your first intersection.
Are there any signs or anything?
Sure. I'll say that there's a big sign for the Hearthflame Market. It's a huge market, you assume. There's Glowing Gardens. There's the Shadespire. They all kind of point in this direction here. And then... Yep, go.
Okay. No, go ahead. I want to finish hearing what there is.
More towards the right is the Basilica Magna, which is sort of like the temple, the big temple. And then to the left here are the crypts, as well as the Temple of the Reverie.
Well, I think we head towards the market. I think there's probably an inn there.
Yeah. Seems like most of the stuff to do is that way.
Okay. So, pushing forward again, town is very busy. People are out. You can see all manner of people, both in class and in race, are just sort of out doing what they're doing. You noticed that the procession of Shadewatch went directly left, in the direction of like the crypts and the Temple of the Reverie. They went that direction, away from any other direction that you could discern. But heading forward, you can see in the center of the city a high-rising tower, proudly standing. It has red brick roof, beautiful large cutouts for windows, and it's up and away the largest building. It is not a church of any kind. There's no bell, nothing like that. It's just a large sort of spire-like tower in the center, accompanied or sort of adorned with all sorts of markets and like shrubbery. There is a statue out front of a common depiction of Erithus, who is obviously a woman. She's often depicted, at least in my world, with a shield and a sword, and the shield has the balances on it. Again, law and order and chaos and lawlessness. What else do you see? Okay, and then you also see amongst this large market a huge, like an enormous 5-story, for the most part, square building with these circular tower-like protruding structures that is labeled in a big sign with big letters, the Hearthflame Inn.
Seems to be what we're looking for.
Okay, so
yeah, I think we head towards that inn there.
Okay, you head towards the Hearthflame Inn. There is a large building outside where you can park your horses and have them sort of stay for the night, stables of sorts. There is a stable hand there. He will introduce himself. Good evening. Are you staying the evening?
Indeed, we are, good
I believe
sir.
so.
All right. Please leave your horses here for now. When you come back with a ticket, I will put them in stables for you. My name is Jamedi. If you need me, I will be here.
Great, thank you.
So you can kind of leave them there and he'll look out for them temporarily. There's a few horses scattered about. But you head into the Hearth Flame, and you see this building is kind of like dark orange exterior. Both the roof and the actual makeup of the walls are like this dark, almost like fiery orange. Hence the name Hearth Flame Inn, probably. And you can see it's just littered from like the top 3 stories with windows. Like every 5 feet is a window. And the bottom story here you can see is kind of like under this overhang. And there are people out and about drinking, talking. There's some game boards for chess, checkers. Mancala's played. There's a bunch of stuff going on. Bunch of sights, bunch of people around. And you can smell immediately as you walk in. Roasting of meats. You can smell ale. Like bar snacks, like popcorn. It's a hopping place. There's live music. But you are entered into the front door where there is a...
bussin', goddamn.
It's definitely bussin'. There is a young lady who sits at the front, the hostess probably. She is currently indisposed with guests, but you wait in a queue, taking a look around, and eventually you are brought to the front. Good evening there. Welcome to the Hearth Flame Inn. My name is Julia. You looking to stay tonight?
Indeed, we are.
All right, that's what I like to hear. Well, where would you like, how many rooms? How many nights?
Just the one night for now. Perhaps more, but we need to figure out what we're doing first.
Of course, of course. And, you all want separate rooms? You want one kind of suite? I don't think we have anything quite big that's open right now to fit you all in one, but...
You guys want to do 2 rooms?
Yeah, that works.
2 people to a room?
And, do you have a floor preference at all, or are you alright anywhere?
I think anywhere close to an exit would be great.
Alright, well, I will say, there isn't a place in the Hearth Flame that doesn't have a view, so you won't lack there. I'll put you on floor 2. There's adjacent rooms. Fit 2 in each. That suffice?
I think that works fine.
And, did you have any, horses or mounts you'd like to store overnight?
We do have 4 horses as well that would need stabling.
All right, I'll write you up a ticket for that. You give that out to Jametti when you get a chance. All right, all together with the horses, that's gonna run you 20 gold total for the evening.
So 5 gold apiece.
I'm going to pop.
Sounds good to me.
All right, and you should have accommodations in your rooms. If you don't want maid service to come in the morning, put the thing on the door. And the bar is open all night, so have yourself a good time. Again, my name is Julia. It's a pleasure to have you in the Hearth Flame Inn this evening. Enjoy your stay. And she'll hand you
Pleasure to be
4
here.
keys and 4 tickets.
Well, Julia, before we go, we're actually looking for someone. What's the name?
Meryl Sky.
Would you happen to know a Meryl Sky?
She gives a chuckle. Meryl Sky, are you serious?
Yeah,
Indeed
that's
we are.
that's who we were told to meet. Yeah.
I'll be. Not many people come around here knowing Meryl. She's over there in the shade spire, and she'll point to like the window in the front room, the tall building. You know Meryl Sky, and you're staying in the Hearth Flame Inn. I commend your spirit.
We don't exactly know her yet. We're here to meet her. Is there anything we should know?
Meryl have a reputation.
I think it's best left to experience.
Well, all right then. Well, thank you for your hospitality. We will go. Let's go. Hand this ticket over for our horses, and then go to the room. Everyone.
You can hear as you leave, she'll under her breath, Meryl Sky, my goodness. And she'll take next guest. All right, you hand
I
your
hope-
ticket. Go
I
ahead.
hope that's a good thing.
No.
I guess we'll find out.
All right, you hand your ticket to Jametti, who will say, he'll point you to a stable. in which your horse will be kept, and he'll assure you that he'll take good care. He's the best in the city, etc., etc. Sell you himself a little bit, working for that tip. But the evening is yours. You have a couple rooms on the third floor.
I'm gonna give what would be considered a good tip?
Oh,
in
it's
this?
kind of like valet where you pay at the end.
Yeah, but I want to tip up front so I get good service when I come
Ooh,
back at
okay,
the end.
fair enough.
So what's considered a good tip?
I don't know. You tell me, Jara. What do you think's a good tip?
All right. So is copper like a dollar equivalent, or is silver like the dollar equivalent?
Silver is like $1.
Silver's like the dollar. Okay. I'm gonna give him 5 silver.
Thank you very much. This is very kind. I will take very good care of them. You have my word. Jamedi always keeps his word.
And how much gold to silver is it? We're doing
I
10.
think
It's like
tens.
10. I think
Yes.
it's order
We-
of tens.
We're doing 10 denominations because it's built into. Although I found a way to change it, but it's too late. It's fine.
That's fine. I just had to.
I've gotten so used to the 10 conversion
Yeah, it's
that
just so
anything
easy.
aside from that is so weird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I slip him a $5 and I appreciate you taking care of the animals.
Enjoy your stay. My pleasure. They'll walk back. All right. Evening's yours. You have plenty of time to do whatever you'd like. Get some dinner. You can go chill at the bar. There's a performance going on. There's a bard singing on stage, dancers in the dining hall.
Well, do you all want to wait for tomorrow to find our contact, or do we want to? I mean, the Shade Spire is just right across the way, so it is relatively close. If we want to head over there first.
I'm interested now, based on Julia's reaction. Seems like we should find Meryl ASAP.
On the other hand, maybe she's a handful.
Indeed.
I mean, she would be a handful tomorrow. She's a handful tonight, right?
Well, the day was weary, and I'm cold.
That's fair. I think we could do with a nice warm meal. Maybe we eat first and see where the night goes.
All right.
So you-
On one condition, though, Iris,
Yes.
I don't want any commotion this time.
Iris, we are staying in this establishment, so if
Yeah,
you
we're-
are going to cause a commotion, please do it elsewhere.
Exactly.
Okay.
I don't need to eat, so I'll see you later. And she'll walk to try and find a market to play around in.
All right.
All right. Well,
With that, I think it's a good time to take our 5-minute break. We'll meet back here around 8 o'clock and pick
Sounds
up
good.
for the rest of the session.
All right.
We shall resume.
Amazon has a headquarters near you, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's out in Herndon, which is not too far away from me.
Herndon.
Sophie, why is your phone
Herndon.
wet?
Because of the fountain.
That sounds fake.
Interesting. All right. So I believe Iris has gone off into the market, the Hearthflame market, to wreak havoc. But the rest of you are awaiting a table in the Hearthflame Inn in the restaurant tavern side of things, which is most of the first floor. You see a dining room that is filled with round tables, benches, a standard dining tables, a huge bar top with like really cool cutouts in the back of the bar for like wine and underneath the bar for wine that they have. All sorts of drinks are being served. People are running around, dancing. There's a dance floor. There's a stage where there's a bard currently performing with some kind of lute, singing, doing like a performative like comedy show, and there's dancers accompanying him. It is truly a sight out in the middle of what you would presume to be otherwise a forest, middle of nowhere, a bustling city and a bustling restaurant. This is a little rough. That's an amateur bard.
You suck.
Yeah, really. That guy
that part
sucked.
failed their performance check.
Yeah, for real, Jesus. Anyway, you guys eventually are. It's kind of sit yourself almost, and people will find you. But you find. I'll ask you, what preference would you like? Would you like a round top, a bar, like a booth? Where would you like to be?
I think a bar seat would be nice if you guys are into that. We could ask the barkeeper if they're not too busy about the city and like things to do, stuff like that.
Yeah, that works for me. I find the bar folk usually got all sorts of interesting information.
So you
Where's
walk.
the tall table, is it?
What's up?
Someone chuckled.
I heard
I
it.
didn't. Whatever.
You have to go through basically the entire floor of the Hearthflame Inn before you get to the back bar. It's in the back of the restaurant, like dining area. Pushing through the crowd of people and the servers running around, hectic atmosphere. You see in the back left of the tavern part, there is a large collection of the Shade Watch, which keep mostly to themselves, keep the cloak on. It's cold, but in here it's fairly warm. Nevertheless, they keep their cloaks on. Most of them have long, sort of shaggy hair, beards that are kind of not really trimmed at all. Hardy-looking people, but they take up mostly the back portion of the room and are left alone, aside from the servers that have the displeasure of dealing with them. Pushing to the bar, you find a couple of seats open, thankfully, and the bartender's in the back. I'll even roll for it. Nice, natural 19. He's doing all sorts of cool tricks with the bottles, flipping them over, catching them, pouring things fancy. He comes over. It's a young human guy, kind of balding, light facial hair. He's in a black t-shirt with black jean-like pants that are pretty tight. Kind of hipsterish a little bit. But he comes over. He kind of does the fancy throw with a napkin so it lands right in front of you. All right, what can I get you boys?
Is there like a house special for the meal tonight?
And he'll reach behind him, kind of do some flourish, and hand you like each a menu. Well, there's the menu. So you want to know if there's like a meal accompanying a drink, or if you're asking for a house special drink?
Well, usually there's some sort of like meal drink combo. Looking in.
We got a roasted turkey leg with some mashed potatoes and some greens, and a nice tall glass of blonde ale.
Yeah, that works for me. I'll do that.
Yeah, that'd hit the spot.
I'd like a stew or a soup. The house has it.
What kind? We got beef and barley, chicken, mushroom.
You know what? Therathor thinks back to the mushroom picking. I'll have the mushroom.
All right. I'll put that in for you guys. My name's Clyde. If you need me at all, I'll be back here. And he'll do another flourish. Deal with other customers, clientele, as your orders are placed. What would you like to do?
Jara, I was thinking, there was one other person who I forgot about in our adventures in Tura, who could likely be the culprit. To fill Therathari in. Jara was asking me about our time in Tura to try to figure out what might have been going on with the invisible stalker. And I was telling him all about the Golden Sword, the Prince, the Moriartys, but I did forget the Prince was studying under a man named Tyron Capardi, and I do believe, Therathari, I think I'm remembering this correctly, he escaped, correct? He was not ever caught by the king or anything. He sort of...
He was in that large hall, wasn't he?
He was. I think in the chaos of the fight, he slipped out.
Or perhaps he didn't fight at all.
Yeah.
Y'all really think like a tutor could be the person?
He seemed to be a powerful mage. And he was definitely...
Powerful mage would fit the bill.
He was definitely at the heart of whatever the prince was doing. I'm not quite sure if he was above or below, sort of manipulating the prince or maybe manipulated by, but they were close.
Well, if they were close, and if he was a powerful mage, it could be revenge too.
Could easily be that.
I think the next time we contact Tenley,
we should ask if she knows anything else about the tutor and figure out about the mine, and maybe inform her to watch her back as well. Because I mean, if she's all alone, we don't know what they might target her as well.
Yeah, we'll try to somehow get that message back to her. Maybe there's someone here who can send a message back.
Well, yeah, I mean, they might have like a carrier pigeon here that we could like hire to send a message back. That could be possible.
In the in the seats next to you, you notice that there's this very scruffy looking dwarf, long beard, kind of the typical braided hair, and he's in like a conversation with another dwarf, similar looking in age, kind of bald with a single point of hair that's in a ponytail that's kind of pulled back. They are drinking in small shot glasses, almost like a dark black liquid. Little viscous, but it comes out and there's a flame sitting on top. And they kind of blow it out and shoot it down real quick. And then noticing the aftermath of whenever they take the shot, every, like, for the next couple of minutes or so, you notice that not only do they appear to be talking gibberish, but the actual words that are coming out, it takes you a little bit. It's almost like in slow motion. It's very weird.
What is it they're having? Therathari asked the bartender.
Oh, them? That's the Shade Shroom Shot. We made it here in the Hearthflame Inn. One of my own recipes. It'll cost you a pretty penny, but if you like to have a good time, maybe not remember it so well, that's what you want. I always recommend it to people who are here for the first time, which I don't want to assume, but I can kind of glean from you fine folk that you don't necessarily come here often. And I do love new customers. I would recommend it. It's always worth a shot. Pun intended.
We are travelers just passing through. Is there like anything else about the town that we should know? Like anything crazy happened recently, or anything pop up in the local news?
Searching for answers. Well,
just trying to understand, where I'm visiting a little bit better.
Of course. I do have a bunch of other clients, but if you entice me, kind of wink at you, maybe I'll divulge some things. I do hear a lot as a barkeep. I'm sure you're aware.
Well, how about if I order one of those shots then?
All right. And he'll bring the stuff over and he'll make it in front of you, giving you a small window in which you can talk to him. And he's doing all these fancy flourishes, almost as though they're second nature. Felix, you recognize during your time, this guy is very well trained. It's not like some average Joe. Most likely, this guy was not trained here, probably trained in Karth, and has moved here graduating from some sort of bartending school. You've seen guys like this on the Oasis who always bring in the tips, especially if they're good-looking younger guys. They'll bring in a lot of tips. But
Gigolos.
He's definitely well-trained and definitely a seasoned bartender.
Clyde, you seem experienced. Where'd you go to school for bartending? I mean.
I appreciate you noting my skills. I went to a place over in Karth, a little bit far from here. I'm not sure if you heard of the place, but it's an oasis, Gidro Oasis.
Yeah, I think I've heard of it.
Nice place if you're ever. It's a nice place if you're ever traveling about. You want to know the school? Have you been to Karth?
Yeah, I like my friend said, we're travelers. We've been around the block or two, or a block. I don't know. We've been around the block.
Well, excuse me. I didn't mean to come off as a little bit aggressive there, but the Shaken Shot School Academy, if you will. Not the most prestigious, but one of them, I'd like to think, and he does a little flourish. You ever go on?
Certainly trained you well. Looks like you're at the top of your class.
Huh, you flatter me. I appreciate that. And he'll like pour some of the liquid into one of the shots, and he'll continue making the rest.
So anyway, back to what I was saying. Is there like anything crazy happen in the local news that might be worthwhile hearing about?
Roll me a d10. I have a table prepared.
Oh shit!
Who would have thought? I'm shocked that this question came up.
Nope. I got a 3.
Well, what kind of news you looking for? I mean, you want something real juicy, I can tell you.
Yeah, I mean, Juicy's good. Anything just really pertaining to local news, anything that might seem out of the ordinary or strange, noteworthy.
I heard, and he'll lean in close while making the drink, shaking. He's like shaking like this, leaning in. I heard from a few people walking by, passing through. There's a little bit of commotion going on at the Temple of the Reverie. Some of the Shade Watch have been like a mutiny going on. Interesting stuff. And he'll lean back out and shake and do a little flourish again.
Are they suffering poor conditions? What's the deal there?
There's a lot of speculation, but if I'm a betting man, he's still shaking. There's probably some slyness going on with payouts and who's getting cut of what.
Interesting.
Do you think it's like a financing issue?
Most things like that are. I mean, the Shade Watch are already a rough bunch, and he'll look over at the table of them, shouting curses at each other and spitting all over the place. I imagine something to break them up would probably be finance.
Are the Shade Watch like local group, or are they like hired by Turi at large?
You really aren't from here. The Shade Watch started as a group just to manage just a bunch of sellswords, really. Looking to keep the city safe when the Shadefinders go out and hunt for their Shade Shrooms. But, they've grown in numbers as more Shade Shrooms have been dug up. The prospect of getting rich quick has turned a lot of guys otherwise who would be out doing God knows what into Shade Watch members. And, of course, with the increase of ranks, you got to pay more people. And my theory is, and I'll stand by it, but if you didn't hear it from me, of course, that there's some screwing over going on over there, and that's starting to divide the people. But recently, with this influx of new members and new prospects, things with the Luminous are getting a little tense. I'm not sure if you're aware of that situation. I'm sure you can just see it passing by, but they don't really like each other for obvious reasons.
Well, yeah, I'm sure they probably see them as competition, which if you're already struggling to pay the bills, you don't want people taking your work.
A little bit of that and a little bit of some of the Shade Watch, again, not the best folk. They like to overstep their authority, think they run things more than they do. And, steps on the toes of the Luminous. Pissing contests, you know the deal.
Right. Tale old as time.
Yeah. I think I got time for one more question, and he'll shake the last shaker and fill in the last shot.
Out of character, does this question have to be about the...
I rolled for what he has advanced knowledge of. You can ask him, and he may or may not have knowledge of anything.
What's our contact's name? I'm going to ask him about her.
Meryl Sky.
Meryl, all right. Yeah, we're actually here to meet Meryl Sky. You know everything about her?
Shut up.
See that's the response we keep getting, and it's making me a little bit nervous.
Come on, I mean, I know we're shooting the shit and having a good time. You don't have to do that to impress me. It's fine. Whatever you're here for, you're here for. It's no big deal, really.
I'm not joking. We're supposed to. She's a contact here in the city. We're supposed to meet up with her.
Right, and my uncle's the orator, right. Look,
I'll
Clyde.
show him my archive apparel.
Oh shit. What are you doing? What are you doing here? Going for that bag of bones? Jesus.
Well, instructions were kind of limited about who our contact was and how to contact them, so we just kind of went to the inn to kind of gather some information so we could figure out who we're supposed to meet and where.
Man, I don't see this often. Mind if I ask your names? I mean, I feel like I'm serving some important people here. I'd like to be on a first name basis with this kind of clientele. All right. From the silence, I get it. You're discreet.
Well,
Look, I get it. Don't have to tell me. But Meryl is, she's a strange one. I don't even know. God, she's old as the sand makes up the walk of this, of the markets. I don't even know how to even date her. She's been in that spire as long as I've been alive, probably times 10. She's a bit reclusive and kind of a little bit, cuckoo. But she knows a thing or two, and not many people get a one-on-one meeting with her. Consider yourself
she
in a
hold,
select
like,
few.
an important position here, or she's just like the local weirdo?
She's a very powerful spellcaster. It's about all I know. I don't really dabble in that nonsense, but from what I've been told and from the reputation she carries, she's up there. She's old, she knows some shit, and it's hard to get a meeting with her. Whether that be because she's busy or because she's, again, cuckoo. I guess you'll find out.
Well,
I
I
would,
appreciate your time.
Some friendly advice before I help the next guest. If you are meeting Meryl, truly, and it seems like you are, I would be careful who you divulge that information to, because a lot of people will do a lot of things to get a meeting with Meryl.
Well, all right then. I'll, with that information, keep it to ourselves.
And don't worry about the drinks. It's on me. And he'll walk away before you can do anything.
Wait, Clyde. Does he come back, or does it look?
Make a persuasion check.
Okay. Not very good. 4.
Nope, he's gone.
All right, that's fine.
And he's out of there.
Well, I think we at least got a free meal and learned something. So there's that.
Are you taking
Yeah.
the shots? He lined up free shots.
At least 3 shots. You guys, are we doing this?
Man, I kind of want to be. Do we know what they do besides like make you talk?
I don't
slow?
know, but if they have the power to like actually distort space and time when you drink it, I feel like that's kind of like an experience you got to go for, right? Like at least once.
Yeah. After last night, I kind of want to be on alert, but I guess odds are they wouldn't act so quick. I think we could take the night off. feel like
Felix,
All right.
I think after last night you need a drink. That's what
Yeah.
I feel like.
Felix agrees.
For those...
The two of them hear a thud as Therathari slams down a shot glass.
Let's go. All right, everyone who's taking a shot, which sounds like
Hell
you all
yeah.
did, you need to make me Constitution with disadvantage. Con save with disadvantage.
Oh, yeah.
You have-
Do we get the bonus from? Or is there a
No,
bonus?
that's the
that
other
was the
party.
old character.
Yeah,
That was
is
Gino.
Connor's not here.
Oh, that was Gino too.
That was Gino.
Oh, I thought you were thinking of Seraph.
All
Gonna
right.
be an 8.
I got a
right.
7.
Nice.
I got a nat 1. It's
Okay.
a 7
Yeah.
total though.
First
All
roll was
of
a
you-
19.
All of you miserably fail. Iris, what are you doing?
Iris is looking for a market or just anywhere
Well,
to
Good
browse
news.
and see what's going on.
The Hearthflame Inn is surrounded by the largest market in the city.
Hell yeah.
Don't have
She's
to go far.
browsing literally for trinkets and odds and ends and just cool things that she may have never seen before.
Okay. How high class are you willing to go here?
She doesn't really know the current scale of money at the moment.
Fair.
She has like 1,300 gold on her. Based on her last transactional experience, that's not a lot for super crazy magic items, but just regular trinkets that'll probably get somewhere. So she'll explore. She will just explore.
Okay. Make a perception check.
All right, that is going to be a 17.
Okay. Despite being in whatever coma you were in for however many years you were in, you know your way around the market, and there are individuals who are the classic sleazy salesman, just trying to sell you shit, and you can see them from a mile away, despite being displaced again X amount of years from when you were truly whatever, not in coma state. You definitely can pick up the sleaze balls, so avoiding them to save your coin for better use. You stumble upon a beautiful purple tapestry, like cloth tent with gold fringes and a big G on the front. Very large G in gold inlay, like gold lettering. The tent flaps are pulled aside, and you can see in there this is one of the more permanent tents. It's not quite like solid walls, however. There are armor stands with beautiful armor and all sorts of ceremonial armor. And there are rows of like glass cases of all sorts of necklaces and rings. And towards the back, you can see all sorts of bobs and bits and trinkets kind of just scattered on the shelves. And there is a large Furbolg who is sitting behind the desk, or standing rather, nearly 8 feet tall, cattle-like features, purple hair, kind of a dumb, dopey smile on his face. Hi there.
Oh, hello.
Welcome. And he'll
Ah,
step out from behind the counter. Welcome to Gilmore's Glorious Goods. My name is Theobald, with an F. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. My name is Iris.
Iris? That's a pretty name.
It's old.
Hmm.
What do you have here?
Well, what are you looking for?
I'm new to the area. Was mostly looking for trinkets. I'm in the market for anything, really.
Well, we have anything. And he'll turn and he'll kind of give a very... He moves not in slow motion, but he's a big guy. He kind of moves a little slow. And he beckons you towards the front counter where the shelves of stuff are. I assume you want something magical, right, Iris?
I am most predisposed to magical items, though any trinket should be good if it meets my curiosity.
I like your style. All right, let's see what we have here. Okay, roll me a d10.
D10.
Yep.
2.
Okay. So, you see... Okay. You see hanging on a hanger of some kind, a really nice leather satchel with on the part that kind of folds over and clasps. You can see the leather work is done very well. It's kind of got these cool leather patterns that are probably pressed in some way or etched in, like these lines that kind of swirl. He'll place that on the table. He takes from underneath the desk or the desk where he's at. He pulls out this like torch-like thing. Let's see. Okay. Yep. And then he takes out the last thing he takes out is a belt, like a leather belt of some kind. Very well made, very well put together. It has it kind of comes together in a with a clasp that isn't like undoable. It kind of just like comes together and meets at the center. Well, these are some of our more sought after items. If you'd like to take a look.
Iris will begin inspecting each one that has been placed on the table.
Okay, so the satchel is a satchel of holding. Doesn't have
Okay.
as much room as a bag of holding, but it has the
Mhm.
portability of a satchel.
Okay.
The torch is an endless torch where all you do is
Mhm.
speak the arcane words, and it lights 60-foot radius. So quite a
Oh,
large
that's-
radius.
Woo. Okay.
And then the belt is a belt that is a rope of climbing. You can kind of transforms into a rope of climbing.
Ooh.
And you can see like where the belt meets in sort of the center clasp area is a giant coil of rope, like emblazoned on it.
Ooh.
Do any of these tickle your fancy?
I would be most curious about the torch and the belt. I already have a similar function for the satchel.
Great. Well, the torch is gonna be until look at the tag. 450 gold. And the belt is a little more pricey. It's a little bit harder to find. This is gonna be about 900 gold.
Iris will start looking for, like, just perusing the two items particularly. I say as I read what a rope of climbing does.
Sure.
And moves 10 feet. Tell the rope to fasten itself securely to a... Wow. Okay. Curious.
This is a 100-foot rope of climbing. There's various
This is-
degrees, but this one is 100.
Okay. Oh, that's kind of sick. Okay. Iris will keep those in mind, and as she's looking through. So, I'm very curious about both of them. Do you carry books here?
Like spell books or history books or fiction
History
books.
primarily. I am
Oh,
trying to learn more about the past.
I'm afraid I do not carry that sort of thing. However, the cluttered shelf, just up that way, and he'll point to where the cluttered shelf is on the map. Big bookstore, opens in the morning. You can probably find whatever you're looking for there.
Oh, okay. I will stop there later.
Wonderful.
Let's see. She'll look at both of the items again.
I believe both of these would be rather useful, but I don't know if I cover it fully.
Well, combined, they're 1,400 gold, about. What do you have on you? And are you willing to trade anything?
And she'll start. Well, she will visibly pop open her chest cavity and begin reaching around for things.
Okay, you hear a, oh, cool.
See, she will retrieve. Let's see. The heavy crossbow that she pulled off of a corpse from the Chimera fights.
Mm-hmm.
She will pull out a spear.
These are rather mundane, but I no longer have a use for these.
Unfortunately, our stock is large enough, and we can't afford to take on mundane items that aren't enchantable.
Oh,
Very well. She'll put them back in her containment portion and pull out a. Oh God, what would she? There's not much else that she has that's magical that she would want to give away, save for. Oh, you know what? She can probably. Yeah.
Go on.
Well, she was going to try something, but in about the 2 seconds that she kind of came up with it, she came up with 3 more reasons why she shouldn't do it.
Her processing power is unmatched.
She's multi-threaded.
Multi-threaded.
I can pick up one and then bring my companions for another. Perhaps they might be interested
Wonderful.
in these.
I would love to meet your friends. Which
In the
would you
meanwhile,
like to pick up?
I will take the torch, and then I will bring my friends another day and perhaps look at the belt.
Outstanding. Let me just ring you up here until like push the very slowly on the register.
Like the old ass registers.
Yep. That will be 449 gold.
Very well. Iris will pay 449 gold.
I will write in my notes to give you the Everbright torch. So you'll have that in D&D Beyond.
Hell yeah.
And just to reiterate, it is a 60-foot radius light source. That
60
is
foot radius is fucking nuts. Holy shit.
That's why it's 450 gold. $450 light, basically. But you can toggle it on and off.
Does it have a dimmer?
No, it's only one setting.
Should have sprang for the deluxe model.
He wraps it up in like purple wrapping paper and puts it in a purple bag, and he says, "It has been a pleasure, Iris. Enjoy, and I'll see you
Thank you
really
very much.
soon."
I will see you tomorrow. And Iris will bow graciously, hold this cool new item to her chest as she leaves. And then as she's walking back to the inn, she's going to try and spot out one of the skeezier merchants, and she's going to stream a consciousness primordial at them.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. One of the merchants in the middle of his sales pitch, he's pitching to a young couple, and this will help your performance, I guarantee it. All of my clients come back and they want more, and let me tell you, all of them... Sorry, we're closed, and he'll like take the things from their hands, put them in his pocket, and close his shop up.
That was a curious reaction. She's going to look for one more skeezy merchant to stream of consciousness before heading back to the Hearthflame Inn proper.
Okay. This individual is selling some kind of, again, another like knick-knack. It's just a random person. And the primordial stream comes in sort of mid-pitch. He kind of looks around. Gives a once-over. He kind of eyes you. And gives you like a dirty look. And he's stream of consciousness. I guess you wouldn't understand it either. A random collection of characters to you, back to you.
Oh, so that's what that's like.
And then he'll do it in common and say, "This is my sale. Back off."
I'll answer back in Celestial.
You will be judged for your hubris, mortal.
Oh my god.
He just glares at you and gives a half-cocked smile while glaring at you, and the clients are looking at him, and he'll go back to his spiel.
Iris will smile all innocent and then go back to the Hearthflame Inn.
All right, you return to the Hearthflame Inn with your buddies. The sensation is very strange for you. It kind of goes down because it's on fire. It starts, you blow it out. It goes down hot, but immediately it cools you, like almost instantly. Circulates through your body, this chill. And then it starts to get warm. And then your tongue goes numb. You swallow this like viscous black liquid, kind of sucked going down a little bit. But you start to feel really good, like really happy. Most of the conversation you're having just involves laughing. Not much words are said. It's very much like when you smoke pot and you're like in the happy, laughy phase. But Iris, you kind of stroll back and they're in mid-conversation laughing and living it up. And they are going in slow motion. For you guys, it seems like almost like time is moving super fast. Like you look around and look down and look up and like... Therathara, you with your keen mind, like tens of minutes are passing by the second. It's very weird. Very
Mine
weird.
plus this must be a trip.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's a lot to balance. And Iris, you kind of come back with your friends, like laughing in slow motion and like slapping each other's backs in slow motion. It's very strange.
Iris will approach slowly.
Are you all okay?
Oh, we're more than okay, Iris.
That answers it.
We are
Great.
just wonderful.
Iris is gonna look over at the bartender.
What did they drink?
Oh, hey, what can I get you? Oh,
Hi.
look at you. You look nice. Cool.
Thank you. I'm with them. Are they okay?
Huh. Yeah, in a few minutes it'll wear off. Let's see, it's been. Oh, no, they still got about an hour. Might want to hang tight.
Oh. What
Don't
did they
worry,
drink?
it's harmless. I promise. It's a little bit of a shade shroom shot. Kind of gets the system going a little bit, but look at them. They're like just
Shade
drooling and laughing.
Are those the fungi that were being dug up earlier?
The very same. Would you like to try one?
I'm curious, though I'm not sure how I will interact with it.
If you're with them, it's free.
Oh, okay. I'll try it then.
All right. Stay tight, and he'll walk down and make it for you while your buddies are going in slow-mo town. But
Arthari is going to
Mhm.
break, like he's just gonna smash his shot glass on the bar, and
Jesus.
then use mending to repair it and observe in slow motion as the
Oh my
glass comes
god.
back.
what's actually strange is, so what happens
shit's-
is you bring the shot glass down, and Iris, you watch as Therathari's arm is moving incredibly slow, like at 10 FPS. And he comes down, and the glass shatters as soon as it hits. You watch as it shatters in slow motion. Bits of glass and powder just pancake out. And Therathari will lift his hand in slow motion, and he'll cast mending in slow motion, and the bits of glass mend together in slow motion.
That is the most
Therathari,
kaleidoscopic shit.
Therathari, you watch as you bring your hand down full force and smash the glass, immediately followed by you mending it back together.
Did you guys see that?
What? That's crazy.
Iris, you are handed your shot. Well, bottoms
Okay.
up.
Curiously, she will give it a drink.
Get con save at disadvantage.
Would you consider this a poison effect?
No.
Okay, so let's do this shit. You said disadvantage?
Yep.
Oh god. Oh god. It's gonna be an 18 or a 17.
Okay. You still fail the DC with a 17.
Oh shit.
You immediately feel your insides go hot as the liquid pours down, and then cold, and then warm. You kind of go numb, and then everything around you is just so funny. You can't stop but laugh. And you join in with your friends, talking about absolutely nothing. And everyone, I want to stress, while you're under this effect, time is, if anything, moving very fast. None of you know you're in slow motion. But to everyone outside, you are like in 10 FPS. Very strange.
Once the effect hits, Iris will look to her friends. You should see what I bought. And she pulls out the torch and turns it on in the middle of the bar.
This beam of light boom, lights up. It's 120 feet around you in the radius. The entire floor lights up. And the bartender comes real quick. Whoa, 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 whoa. Not in here. Not in here.
Turn that off.
Oh, wait. I'm assuming now, since we're all under the influence.
Because we're all under the influence.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
don't have
we're-
to. Yeah.
All right. Where'd you get that? That's awesome.
There's
That's so cool.
there's a magical item store next door. It has a lot of cool stuff.
What else?
I didn't
did
have
you
enough
see?
money for everything, but there was a belt. But it was a rope. Like a magic rope that went like 100 feet. And it could like latch onto its own stuff.
Oh my god.
Like, we have to go back there.
Oh my
tomorrow.
God.
I want to buy it.
Yeah, for sure. Sounds awesome.
I also went back from the store and I saw a really skeezy dude. And I screamed into his mind, and he got really scared. And then there was another dude I screamed at, but he knew I screamed at him, so he messaged me back, and then I messaged him back in Celestial, and I told him, "You will be judged for your hubris, mortal." And he looked really pissed off.
Do you have the power to judge him for his hubris?
I like to think so.
Maybe you should.
What was your judgment?
Pestilence and plague.
Well, I certainly don't want to be on your bad side then. Especially if the pestilence and plague starts actually happening.
If it does,
A swarm of locusts come now.
I'm pretty sure there's a holiday for that.
Yeah,
Jews are canon.
I think you're about 8 plagues short there.
Oh. What's the other one, Toads?
Blood. The dwarf sits next to you.
Right. Blood. And
Boils, firstborn, darkness. It goes on.
I think the slaying of the firstborn is the worst one.
Yeah.
oh.
That's
I
the
mean,
template.
unless you're the secondborn. But then if it happens again, you became the firstborn again. So
Is that how it works? I don't know.
Is that how that works?
I'm assuming. I wouldn't know.
The dwarf insists that's how it works.
He seems like the expert. Is your name Moses by chance?
No, my uncle's name is Moses.
Well, that checks out. I heard Moses was the fella responsible, so.
My uncle hasn't done shit, let me tell you.
Maybe it's a different Moses then. I don't know how common that name is amongst the dwarven.
Iris, in her infinite wisdom, is going to pop the mind-melting mushrooms now.
Oh my god. Okay.
What
Are you doing all of them?
How much of a dosage do I have?
What does it say in your inventory? Did you write down?
It just says mind-melting mushrooms.
Do we know that Iris has mind melting mushrooms?
I believe I would have given you 1 dose.
Yeah, she would have bought the one. Yeah, she's gonna try it.
All right. You already are fucked, so this will be at disadvantage for sure. This is a wisdom check, a wisdom save at disadvantage.
Okay. So it's gonna be a 14 or an 11.
Okay. In the
This
middle
was
of
some of the weird dream shit that she bought because it was like, oh, it'll
Yes.
help you with your dreams.
Oh,
Okay.
right.
in the midst of her whatever this feeling is, Iris, in mid conversation, begins to retrieve from her cavity of holding a bag, very slightly a very small bag of dried, kind of crushed up mushrooms, and just pops them. And that's it. In the middle of conversing.
How so like this is getting I did not expect this session to get to this place, but like when you're high, like you're still able to maintain some sense of like responsibility. Like how able are we to like you know what I mean? Like there's always like the mom friend.
Are you
Like
you
how-
trying to stop her from doing it?
Not to stop her, but just to be like aware of it and keep it in mind in case something happens.
Oh, you would,
like
you would
how
if you're trying to like stop it, you would need to roll. If you're trying to hide it, I should say, Iris, roll sleight of hand. If you're not, then passively you guys would notice.
I don't know if she would think to hide it right now.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to stop her. I just want like, am I able to like make a
Yeah,
mental note of that?
absolutely.
Okay.
Especially if someone like takes a bag of dried anything out and pops it in the middle of a conversation, you'd notice it for sure.
Exactly.
So you would just watched Iris take mind melting mushroom. But you guys are actually coming down from your sort of high-ish feeling. Time is starting to move back to normal. As you come out of the high feeling, Iris, you're not yet. You all
Yeah, I just
gain
started.
for the next 24 hours plus 5 feet of movement speed.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh shit.
Nice.
So make a note of that somewhere for the next 24 hours. That's 2 long rests. You have +5 movement speed. As when you come down, that sort of fast-paced, like time's moving super quick feeling doesn't quite leave, and you notice that you're able to quickly, your agility has gone up, and you're able to move around a little bit quicker, which is pretty cool. Iris is still high as a kite, doubly so. With the mushrooms and this sort of time warp that you find yourself in, you're not quite sure how this will mix, but you know that whatever feeling the mushrooms may be giving you either is too subtle to be felt right now, hasn't kicked in, or is being washed out completely by the shade shroom shot. But the night is young, literally. Do you guys want to leave the bar, stay at the bar? Totally up to you.
What's the vibe? What's the move?
Oh, by the way, it is currently approximately midnight. Like you were like time was like zipping. You were up there for a little while.
I mean, I think it's getting pretty late. We should probably give it the evening and then go meet our contact in the morning. If it's like midnight.
Sounds like a plan. Yeah, I think I'm definitely open to staying one more night at least. I don't know if we're at the point where we have to make that decision, but I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah, I mean, I think we could meet with our contact tomorrow, see what they say, and then we could probably justify staying another night if there's like not another shot. Sorry, I'm still a little fucked up. Another night.
What was that about another shot?
No, Iris, you've had enough.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, we might need to, like I said, information gather, find some more equipment, restock some things. I think that'll all be useful.
All right.
Okay. All right. As you are making your way out of the bar part of the Hearthflame Inn, you notice that the bard that was once singing is closing down now, and he says as you're leaving, "Thank you, everyone. It's been a pleasure to perform for you tonight. My name is Steel High Mountain. If you need me, my card will be right here." And he'll do some like arcane trick, and like cards, like his business card, will like fly out to the first couple of tables near the stage. "Thank you," and he'll bow and walk off the stage. All right, you guys are going up to your rooms, I presume?
Yeah, who's rooming with who?
We're gonna figure it out.
I'm still rolling.
You have to carry Iris if you want her to walk at the same pace as you.
Yeah, we'll help her. I actually did. I swapped out one of my one of my what's it called? Enchantment things, infusions.
Infusions.
For the breastplate of strength, so I would be kind of leading that charge.
Totally. Yeah, you're carrying Iris, who is laughing at everything and just having a grand old time in slow motion land. Okay. You eventually end up on the 3rd floor.
I thought we were on the second.
The 2nd floor,
Right.
excuse me. Yeah.
Okay.
We were so fucked up, we went to the 3rd floor first.
And then you went back
Yeah, we
down.
had to go back
Oh,
down.
wait. We're on the 2nd.
Good memory.
Kyle is the most fucked up one of us. Know what floor we're on.
She's a robot. So.
That is true. He is a robot.
Iris, for a moment in time, on the back of Felix, you feel like you're flying.
Iris is going to take the moment for like her right-handed all-purpose tool to just continually extend all of her digits. To you guys, it's just her hand is expanding. To her, she just watches all of her fingers just go off into the distance.
Yes, you are flying so high. But yeah, you have 2 rooms that are across the hall from each other. Who's going where?
I'm not a roll for roommates. I don't know how we would do that.
All right.
But I think that'd be fun.
Why don't you do a roll off? Oh, go on, Tom.
How about we draw straws as to who gets Iris?
A good call.
And we all three of us rolling. The lowest gets
Yeah.
gets fucked up Iris.
That sounds good. D20.
Yeah,
Oh, I got a 2. I got Iris probably.
nice. I got a 10.
Thought it was a 1, but it's a 7.
Oh,
They are right
Alright.
next to each other.
That is true.
I
Alright,
can
folks.
hopefully
That
take care
looks
of
like
her.
I got the longest straw there. Looks like you might have drawn the short one there, Felix.
Yeah, true to character.
If you need anything, we'll be right across the hall.
All right. Well, I mean, I think I should be fine, but I'll keep it in mind.
Okay. You each go into your rooms. They are very neatly organized. The beds are made. There's 2 like double-sized beds on either side of a hallway, kind of separated. Nice little pillow setup. Very comfortable room. Each of you would have a view. Let's see. The one on the outside of the building has. You guys are kind of like on this left side where, what is that? Tom's cursor is. Like over here-ish.
Okay.
And it's really cool the way that they do the always have a view gimmick is they have a like not like a portable hole, let's say, but they have some sort of way of mapping the outside of the room across the hall to where you are. So you're seeing the same thing that I guess Felix and Iris are for those who are on the other side. It's very interesting.
That's pretty sweet. So they can like look out of the window of that room without actually even being in the room.
Correct. It's some sort of enchantment or something the way the building's constructed.
I feel like that would come in handy, perhaps.
But that's their gimmick is like every room has a view.
Are you saying they have portals?
It's not quite a portal in so far as you can like it's like a physical wall. Like you can't put your hand through it and like be on the outside. It's just a way of mapping the visual representation of whatever's out the window into whatever that is. It's like
Almost
this,
like a massive illusion, essentially.
basically, yeah. But it's like ongoing. It's pretty cool. Okay. With that, you all bed down for the evening.
Iris is gonna spend some time like sitting on the floor. She's going to pop her eye out and just let it spin around her.
As your high feeling comes off from the shade shroom shot, you are immediately hit with an ungodly feeling of drowsiness.
Yeah.
Like you took 6 melatonin pills, 50 milligrams each. You're out, dude. You're gone.
She like goes to reach for her eye and then just falls over on the floor.
Yep, you hear a clink,
Iris,
Felix,
how you doing?
and she's out.
Out.
Like, what does that mean though? Like, because she didn't really sleep the last night,
She's on the floor.
You know, she normally doesn't sleep.
but she's out. She's sleeping.
She's out. I mean, it doesn't.
Alright.
Her magical essence hasn't withered. She's not dead for sure.
Right.
She's just
Right,
out in
Okay. Alright.
intense sleep. Do the rest of you want to do anything before bed?
I don't think so. I mean, I've been drinking, so.
Okay. So you will all go to sleep. Iris, during your slumber, which is intense and heavy and deep. This is not quite the song. There's too much vocals. If I can get it. This might be better. You awake in a dark, cold chamber. The walls around you are polished gray. You awake from a bed that's very narrow, almost like a cot, and it's chained against the wall. There's a single window about the size of a basketball, circular in nature. And you look out the window, and you see clouds, but not in the sky, on level ground as you, as though you are looking into them, as though you're on top of them. You see the blue sky in the background above these clouds. You look back at a large, polished gray door. No window, just a single handle, and you instinctively go to reach for it. And there's resistance, almost as though it's locked. A few seconds pass. I thought I skipped this song. What the hell is this?
He came back with a vengeance.
Yeah, really. A few seconds pass. You take a step back, wondering, pondering what to do. What would you like to do?
As far as this door is concerned, let me take a look. There are some. I need to see what type of artisans' tools there are. So, druids, clippers, carpenters, cobblers, Yeah, I'm going to start. Or at least, yeah, she's going to start like her instinctive. First instinct is to have her all-purpose tool shift into Tinker's tools and attempt to jimmy whatever lock is on this door.
Okay, go ahead and make. This will be like you could do dexterity. Are you proficient in them?
Yes, I am.
So you can dexterity plus your proficiency bonus from them.
Okay. 15, 16, 17, 18. 19.
Okay. You go to examine the lock or the knob itself, and you notice that there's no keyhole. There's really nowhere to place any pick or tool. And a thought immediately enters your mind, just out of almost instinct. And you utter these words, almost like an enchantment, and the door slides into the wall to the right. Before you is a large, almost laboratory-esque scene. These polished gray floors and walls, basically featureless, smooth to the touch, extend out into this chamber. You see slab tables. You see all sorts of beakers and glass vials. And you see a very strange-looking humanoid figure huddled over a table, working away intently, sort of head down, looking. You take a step forward, looking down at your feet, which match the features of this humanoid creature, not of your construct self, but dark purple skin. And you're basically in a cloth, nothing more.
I'm gonna look back at my hand, which I instinctively started to change into a tool. Is my hand a hand, or am I still a construct?
Your hand is fleshy to the touch. You have 4 fingers, purple skin. As soon as you step out and the door shuts, the figure turns, dressed in this strange gray kind of almost lab coat, you could call it, turns to you, glasses on, kind of like a couple layered glasses, standard frames, and then like these large, almost binocular-like things, and turns to you and says, "Elira, come quick, look what I've done."
Oh, I'll immediately approach.
You take a few steps forward, and you observe on this workbench, this arcane workbench, it looks like the beginnings of some sort of mechanical structure. You can see what this person has been working on is some kind of arm. And you can see on one of the slabs, like in front of this table, further in the room, there is the outline of some sort of mechanical exoskeleton that is not even a third finished. There's still a lot to go.
How far have you managed to take this?
Try it, please. And he'll hand it to you. And you can see this purple framed man now with human-like features, but sort of elongated neck, kind of exaggerated features in terms of like long torso, more ribs in the rib cage kind of looking thing, an elongated oblong head, turns to you, human-like features, hands the gauntlet sort of style armor to you. Please.
I'll place the armor on.
You place it on, and it kind of fits your hand, and you can see metal plates shift, not dissimilar to your exoskeleton form, and it tightens around your wrist. And you feel a pinch. And immediately, you jolt awake on the floor of your hotel room.
Well, that's a
Inside.
little tight. Huh?
You look at your hand, and you notice that your left one, your left arm, is slightly different looking than when you first had the dream. It's a little bit more polished and guarded, almost like armored. You're not quite sure what that means.
Iris is gonna sit up, reach around for the other eye, and put it back into her head.
Okay. You don't know what time of day it is, but it is early morning for sure.
You're gonna spend some time looking into what the hell happened to her arm.
Okay, make an Arcana check.
Arcana. That is a 21.
Kind of going through the motions, trying to figure out what's going on, using your innate magical capabilities. You kind of feel like where there once was just a construct arm, there's almost more feeling there. Almost like you can feel more than you ever could.
Iris is going to open up her chest compartment and pull out a small dagger and attempt to cut that portion of the arm.
Okay. I believe a dagger is a D6, is that correct?
Dagger's a D4.
D4.
You will take 3. That's slashing or piercing? Probably piercing.
Either one. Piercing.
Um,
Slashing for the purpose of running it across an arm.
right. So you'll take 3 slashing damage, and you notice a dark red liquid pool out just a little bit from underneath the plates of armor.
Iris is going to take her all-purpose tool and switch it off to use mending and attempt to mend the mechanical break.
The mechanical break mends correctly, just fine, but there is underneath it a little bit of discomfort and almost like pain. You're not quite sure what it is.
I'm going to look around, realize that Felix is in the room. Very curiously, I'm going to go over and I'm going to shake Felix awake.
I thought you were gonna stab me.
I thought she was going to cut you too. I thought she was about to do a comparison.
You shake Felix violently awake from a beautiful dream of Alfredo in a field.
Yeah. Oh, Iris, how you
hi.
feeling?
I'm going to hold my arm. Is this bleeding?
Felix is still a little groggy, feeling the effects of the shroom shot, but his eyes adjust to the darkness. I'm assuming there's no light, unless you lit the torch. I don't know.
You wouldn't have lit the torch. That thing's bright as fuck.
Yeah. Certainly looks like it, but I don't see why there would be blood.
I-
You feel any pain?
Yes. I didn't before.
Are you able to take the gauntlet off?
Um,
Is there anything underneath it?
this should just be,
She's going to try and see what happens if she gives it the directive to remove.
Okay. You watch as it peels back, kind of shrinking into this back. It's kind of like there's a plate along the back of your arm, and it kind of shrinks into that back brace and shrinks back into around the elbow. And you see purple flesh with 4 fingers. But what's strange is it stops at like the elbow.
This is new.
Wow.
Uh,
Felix doesn't really know how to process this.
I-
It's-
It's a
Um,
reverse Pinocchio.
I have no idea what happened.
um, this is
Uh,
highly peculiar.
She's going to use the flesh hand to remove her all-purpose tool hand out of its joint and see what happens.
It is just an empty socket.
um,
Well, let's do some tests. If you don't mind, can you put your hand on the table for me? I promise I won't hurt you.
which one?
The real one, the purple one.
Oh,
Yeah, she'll place the flesh hand on a table.
You
All right.
notice, Felix, as the hand comes down, in each finger, there's not 2 joints, but 3 longer fingers.
Okay, these don't look like any hands that I've seen before. Iris, you have no memory of waking up, or no memory of anything before you woke up, right?
I just had a dream.
I mean, before you woke up in the
Oh,
excavation.
no. I know bits and pieces.
Okay. Well, here, I'll take out my dagger, and with the hilt, I'll just sort of press into the arm and hand in various spots and ask if she can feel that.
Yes.
Okay, well, it seems like your sense of touch is working. Can you flex the fingers for me? Can you give me like one of these?
Yeah, she'll attempt a.
For the first time in literally as long as you can remember, you clench your fist and you actually hear a crack. Your knuckle pops a little bit.
Is that normal?
Yeah, it happens to me. I crack my fingers all the time. It's kind of a bad habit. How does it feel?
Strange.
You want to test out the strength? And Felix puts his arm up.
She will attempt.
It's a little weak at first, but you get used to it, and it's equivalent to your normal exoskeleton arm.
Well, as strange as it may sound, it seems to me like you've grown yourself an arm.
That sounds highly improbable.
It does. I agree. But you have all the sensation that I would feel in my arm. It's working. You can pop the fingers. You can arm wrestle, flex.
She's going to give the armor the command to retract from the other part, like from the other arm, to
Mhm.
see whether or not it's still like mechanical binding versus actual flesh under there.
It is 100% mechanical.
I was not aware I could synthesize flesh.
Neither was I. It seems to have happened overnight. You didn't feel this at all yesterday?
No.
Well, maybe we can just, Oh, wait, you did take those mushrooms.
I what
But-
now?
The mushroom last night, you might not remember. We all took those shots. I was actually surprised at how affected you were. I figured you'd just go right through you, but you seemed a little messed up. And in the moment, I think you were feeling very good and maybe wanted to feel better. It's natural. But you popped some mushrooms as well. Could that have anything to do with it?
I think they were meant to help me dream. I don't know of any mushrooms that allow the growth of physical appendages.
Neither do I. Do you have any left?
She'll look and test around.
No, that was the only dosage I purchased.
And where'd you get them again?
The same place we purchased potions in the last city.
Phoebe's.
Oh yeah. Oh, she ripped me off. I don't know. Seems like a mystery to me. I would probably, you can definitely tell the others, but I would try to keep it a secret from most people. This would draw a lot of attention, I think, if you were waving that arm around.
He's going to have the arm return. Does the new hand have? Does the mechanical hand have 5 fingers or 4?
It is 5.
Oh, this is going to take some getting used to.
Is Iris able to move the other
Yep.
finger? Oh, that's bizarre.
I suppose this one is a prosthetic.
And they're normal-sized fingers. 2 joints.
Is it fitting uncomfortably?
No, it fits fine. Like it always did. What time is it?
We'd have to ask Therathari. I'm not sure. Is there a clock in here?
Yeah, it's about 3:34 in the morning.
About 3:34 in the morning.
Oh.
Nailed it.
Is it customary to be awake now?
Not for me. I'd like to get a few more hours.
Only if you're a grinder.
Yeah. But
I
if,
understand.
Their mentality.
if you're feeling well rested, then I mean, do your thing. Like I said, my advice is to keep that hidden for the most part.
Okay. I suppose I can talk to the others about this tomorrow.
Yeah, and if we find a medical professional that we trust, we could certainly ask about it. Maybe Meryl can help. Seems like she might be
Maybe.
wise.
We could ask in the morning.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Don't worry. Definitely here for whatever you need. This is a bizarre situation, and I hope to get to the bottom of it.
Same. Iris is going to like sit back down on the floor and like poke at the arm for a little while before just shutting back down.
Okay. You go back to sleep, Felix, a bit worried, but
Yep.
still tired and kind of hungover a little bit. And you wake in the morning, and we'll pick up next week on Friday morning in Answood.
All right.
Oh god, I'm a Quarian.
Bum bum bum.
Iris pulling a partial Pinocchio.
Yeah.
What is this?
don't know
What
what
is
that
this
is.
limb of flesh?
The reverse half Pinocchio.
Not even half. Reverse hangman.
Yeah.
Reverse hang. Oh Jesus.
Yep. Well,
That's
I was
weird.
waiting for you to take that. I wasn't expecting it to
mad
be
weird.
today, but it happened. There you
Oh.
go.
Oh, that's a weird visual now.
This is some dope shit.
All right. Excellent work. We will pick up same time next week. Enjoy the rest
Oh,
of your
yeah.
week, and good luck with the interviews for those looking for them. And I'll talk
Thank
to you guys
you much.
later.
Catch
Alright.
y'all next week.
Have a good night,
See ya.
everyone.